My BMW doesn't drive, or at least not as it is supposed to. The entire car has been such a big journey, and it's now almost been a month of me just trying to figure it out and trying to fix the car. The boot was broken, the button to open the boot was broken, so you could still open the boot with the remote and with the button inside, but you weren't able to open it up with the physical button on the boot. So I had to take it out, I had to fix it, and luckily it's fixed now. The steering controls, so all of the buttons on the steering wheel didn't work, the horn didn't work, the airbag didn't work, and well, the airbag still isn't working. I was able to fix the steering wheel buttons. The clock spring that sits inside of the steering column was completely snapped off, so there was no power to the steering controls, no power to the horn, and also no power to the airbag. It was quite an easy fix to do actually. Just had to get my own ribbon cable, which is quite different from the ones that BMW uses. Took a bit of soldering work and just had to put it back together and had to wind up the clock spring again. Then the actual big issue on what's wrong with my BMW that I bought at auction is you can't really drive it. The car does drive, but it goes into limp mode and it gives me an error that says that the car doesn't have enough boost and the boost pressure is too low. In this entire process, I found an app called Easter, which I run on my laptop, and my laptop is plugged into the BMW. And so Easter is basically also the program that BMW uses. So if you ever take your car into BMW for them to service it or for them to do checks on your car, they also use Easter. So it's an absolutely amazing app that is able to do a lot of work. And for me, it has also done so much, a lot of stuff that I can monitor on it. And it gives me really a good explanation of what is wrong with the car. I've tried about anything that could go wrong to give me the low boost error. I checked my charge pipe, I replaced all of my seals, everything is fine, there's no leak somewhere because the low boost pressure indicates that there must be a leak somewhere where the boost, the air that is compressed that comes out of the turbo, somewhere on its way to the manifold, something is happening and it's not getting there as it's supposed to get there. I've replaced sensors, all of the sensors that gauges it, that controls it. I've replaced seals, 2 seals, 1 seal that's on the charge pipe and the other seal that's on the throttle body. I've also checked at my wastegate. A lot of times something that can also happen is your wastegate opens for some reason, something goes wrong, and especially mine is still mechanical where most cars has an automatic one. And I checked it, recalibrated it, and it's working fine, nothing wrong with it. Turbo is working, the turbo is doing what it's supposed to do. And then the last part, which I'm guessing is going to be the problem, is the dump valve. So the dump valve is basically whenever you drive your car and you let off the gas with cars that has turbos, the excessive pressure that is built up has to go somewhere because you're not using it anymore, and then the dump valve comes into play. So the dump valve completely dumps all of the air that is excessive and that you're not going to be using. I'm on my way to BMW now. I'm going to ask them if they are able to maybe do a diagnosis on my car, because I feel like I've done everything that I'm able to do. I've done so many tests, I've replaced so many parts, and there's only so much that I'm able to do. So I'm going to ask BMW if they're going to ask me any money for them to just check the car, not to do anything or to replace anything, but just to maybe figure out where the problem is. But if it's going to cost me money, and depending on how much it's going to cost me, I'm just maybe going to buy a new dump valve, and I'm just going to replace mine and just going to cross my fingers in hopes that it's going to work this time. So BMW is asking me way too much money to just diagnose the car, and then they haven't even started to swap parts out and try and figure out what's actually wrong with the car. So I'm definitely not taking it to BMW. I'm gonna buy a new dump valve or blower valve, or the other names, I think a diverter valve. Gonna buy a new one. I'm going to install it, and then after installing it, gonna drive it, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna throw the car away, because then I don't have anything to do anymore. I've replaced so much, I've done so much, then I really, really don't know where the fault is anymore.